Can you hear me? Hello, how's everybody? Hey, at least it's not snowing. Boy, tough crowd. Anyway, welcome to Freshman Orientation. I'm Mr. Schneider. I'm the principal. We have a good deal of information for you about IWHS and what we have to offer. So when the presentation's over, feel free to come up and ask any questions you would have. Now I'd like to introduce Brian Bliss, IW Guidance Counselor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Katie. Thanks for all you for coming. You should have a folder by now, so hopefully every student has a folder. And we're going to, Mr. G, we're ready? You got to operate it from back there. So, contents of the folder, and I'm not going to go into great detail, but that's why you guys can take it home and kind of digest a little bit. But we have our table of contents, and then I let Mrs. Murphy down. I didn't put the CEO flyer in there, but that's right here. That's this half sheet. An agenda for the evening. It still says January 23rd, our original date. And then you have some letters on requirements, such as medical exams and all the immunizations that will need to be completed by the time the student enters high school. There's a handout about the driver's ed program. I don't know, Mr. Houston, you can talk about that at all tonight? Or? Yeah. All right. Athletics coaches info. This is contact, basically a directory for the athletic coaches at Illini West. And then a couple handouts. One about the musical opportunities at Illini West with band and choir, and the reading program, and then the math placement handout. And we'll get into that a little bit as well. On the right side, we do have the school messenger form, and that's if parents want to be involved in those school reach calls, even now, we can start getting you enrolled in those. You just have to fill out that form and send it in to the office, and we'll get you on the all call at that point. And then just kind of rolls into when the students start high school. The next thing on the right side will be a green class registration sheet that is unique for every student. So there are results on there in terms of if you tested in or out of the reading class or the math group. Next are all the freshman courses available to you for next year. Just a listing there. Graduation credit requirements, we'll go over that tonight. An individual career plan, which is what I'll sit down one-on-one with freshmen in the fall, and we develop that career plan. Just a 4-year plan, just kind of see, what are you thinking about careers, college, at this point, military, employment, whatever it might be, and just kind of start a plan from that point. All right, and then we have a 4-column sheet of all the courses that Illini West offers year by year, so everything available to freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And then some 4-year and 2-year college entrance requirements in terms of high school classes. Okay, the first thing I like to put up, I'm going to share the wealth with this side too. But the first thing I like to put up, this is how our transcripts are set up. And transcripts are a listing of your classes that you have taken in high school and those grades and credit that you earned along with them. Okay, so this is this is a blank one. This is what yours looks like right now. And this is what I would send once you start getting some classes on here. I send to military recruiters, colleges when you start applying, scholarship programs, those kinds of things. This is going to be your record of your grades earned. Okay, so it's just to illustrate that we're starting with a blank slate, and it's up to all of us see how that is filled out. Mr. G? Okay, so we initially we look at what is it going to take to graduate? What classes do I need to take, and how many credits do I need to earn in order to get a diploma from Illini West? And then we start looking, what classes will help prepare me for my future, whatever that might be. So we're meeting our high school graduation requirements, but we're also making sure that we are taking classes that are going to prepare us for our career. And then post-secondary is a term that describes, any type of schooling after high school. So what are specific requirements that I need to have under my belt on my transcript before I enroll in that college or training school, whatever it might be? Okay, so these are our graduation requirements. So by the end of your senior year, you should be meeting all of these requirements in order to walk across that stage and get that diploma. So unfortunately, we can't just have you take all classes in one area, okay? Or fortunately. We want a well-rounded education. We're turning out students individuals that are ready for careers in college, and this is how we go about doing that. So you basically will take English every single year that you're in high school. It's required. You need 4 years. The reading requirement is a little bit different. Everybody is placed in the reading unless you test out of the reading class. So you can have up to 3 years of reading, or you can have 0 years. It just depends on how you do on the testing. And then we have 3 years of math required, including algebra and geometry, 3 years of science, and 2 years of social studies. You have to be in physical education every single semester except for the one semester you take health. And usually it's taken care of your freshman year. Driver's ed is required. Computer concepts. Consumer education is the big class about budgeting and personal finance, and teaching you about some real life application there for sure. That is required for graduation. And then you need to take 1 year of either a foreign language, art, music, or a vocational, which would mean an industrial tech, an agriculture class, something like that. And then you round that off with electives, kind of whatever you're interested in, to get a total of 24 credits. Okay? Credits and grade point average. So we earn credit by the semester. For every successfully completed semester in a class, you get a half credit. Okay? So if you pass English 1 for the whole year, that's 1 credit. Okay? So whatever combination it takes to get up to that 24. You must retake any failed courses that are required for graduation. It's not like you're just going to go on to the next level without having to take care of that requirement. Okay? Which sometimes would mean, if you fail first semester of English 1 and pass the second semester, your sophomore year, you might be taking English 2 and you're making up that English 1 at the same time. So obviously not an ideal situation for you, but required in order to graduate in 4 years. That again, if you fail any classes, that means you're having to put that required class in your schedule, and you're not going to be able to take maybe an elective you'd be interested in taking. So it really limits your choices at that point. Okay? Okay, so beyond what what Illini West requires for graduation, we also recognize that four-year colleges have their own requirements as well. So it's going to be at least what we require, plus maybe a little bit more. So one big thing that it requires a lot of times is 3 years of social studies, where we require 2, and the bottom one is the 2 years of foreign language, art, or music. Some colleges will require that specific a foreign language, but some others will let you substitute a music or an art in for them. Whereas we only require 1 year of a foreign language or art or music for graduation. You want to look at maybe 2 years there in that area. So you also need to make sure that you're taking the higher level math and science as well. Okay, and we can get into that when we're talking about your 4-year plan. So there are specific requirements we need to look at. Also, with the 4-year college, you've got to have the minimum test scores in either the SAT or the ACT. The SAT is given every year to our juniors, and I'll talk more about that because you guys have actually already taken a PSAT. You also have to have a minimal grade point average. So not only do you need to pass these classes specifically, they're looking for grades in the B range. So already you're thinking about, what I need to do to get to that next step. And then you also need to rank in the top half of your graduating class. So we're not saying that you wouldn't be able to do these things, but this is ideal. This is what the 4-year schools look for when admitting students. Okay. Community college requirements are not going to be as stringent, I guess. They require a high school diploma. However, if your goal is to go to a community college and then transfer to a 4-year school, it's a great idea to take that college preparatory coursework when you're in high school as well. When you get to those community colleges, you'll have a placement test in math, math, English, maybe reading, and they're going to place you in appropriate classes according to your skill level. A lot like coming into Illini West. Okay. We have military options. We really, it's kind of a hands-off kind of deal for our students until they hit junior year. We are required by law to release a directory of our students starting their junior year. So it'd be all of our juniors and seniors and their contact information, unless you disagree with that, or when you register for school, you can be exempt from that, student. So we wouldn't release your child's information. But we have military recruiters on campus. They are usually in the front of the building talking to students as they come through. But from all branches are represented, some more than others, but they do have a presence at Illini West. And then starting junior year, we also administer the ASVAB for anyone who volunteers for it, juniors or seniors. And that's the military entrance exam, but it is also a really good college career kind of assessment to see what you'd be good at going into. And then, of course, more information is available with me if you have questions on that. Okay? All right, we have an expectation of college and career readiness, so we want to put you through a program that's going to get you ready for whatever you choose to do. We measure that by how you guys do on your PSATs and SATs. All 11th graders in the state of Illinois are required to take the SAT. So what we have done is we've started that process in 8th grade, where you're taking a PSAT for 8th grade. It's actually 8/9. And you take that every year until you take the actual SAT spring of your junior year. So we're trying to simulate that experience every single year, having you take it in a controlled environment, paper, pencil at this point, and take 3 or 4 hours of your time to do that. So we try to make the conditions normal for you by starting early on that. And hopefully through that, you guys can score pretty high. So you really took that first step in November, December, whenever we took that. All right, so here's more about the scoring and exempting from reading and math group. So and we also took the SRI test. So there was a lot of testing. I do apologize to all the parents that one day it was tough on them. We had all morning, we tested them, and then we gave them some lunch, and then we had them take a computerized reading test. Okay, so if they were able to score a 10/10 or higher on that reading test, then they've tested out of the reading class. And then when we finally got the results of the PSAT 8 ELA score, if your student had a 390 or higher, that was another way for them to test out of the reading class. So they had 2 opportunities to score to test out of there. Math test was only one. We only took a look at the math that we did on the PSAT, and that is a 430 or higher. So if you did not get a 10/10 or higher on the SRI or a 390 or higher on the PSAT 8, you'll see a reading class on your list of classes. And then if you did not get a 430 or higher on the math, then you'll see a math group on your list of classes. Okay? And if there's a discrepancy, you can just email me. That's fine. We'll figure it out. But we took it from those specific tests. That's where it comes from. And this is not punitive at all. Okay? We really supplement our Algebra 1 class with the math group. And we supplement our English 1 class with the reading, and we have results to that, specifically because we've done it longer with the ELA scores on SAT exams. All right, like I said earlier, you'll do a 4-year plan. We just kind of start at the end, begin with the end in mind, and we work towards it. Just kind of see what you're thinking career-wise, and we see what kind of direction you're going to need, and then we'll schedule courses accordingly. Now, I realize that things change between fall of freshman year and senior year by the time you graduate, so it's something that's pretty fluid. We can change it yearly or by semester, but we just want to get you guys thinking about the future and what it's going to take for you guys to get to those goals. So that's the purpose of the career plan, and that's what we start developing. My goal is usually to get that completed by Thanksgiving every fall. Our schedule, we have a 7-period day. Each class is 50 minutes long with a 5-minute passing period. When you guys come to Loop, you will see, we'll take you through your schedule, and you'll be able to see if you can get to between classes in 5 minutes. It's totally doable. And in fact, you guys were able to witness the passing periods when you came over for the tour in the fall. You earn 6 to 7 credits per year. So if you need 24 credits to graduate, you can pass 6 credits a year and you'd be right at that level. Okay. Study halls do not count for credit. So you would take, if you took 6 classes and then a study hall, you'd still have 6 credits per year. Dual credit courses. We just had, prior to this meeting, we had a dual credit meeting for sophomores and juniors and their parents. And dual credit classes are classes that students can take for high school and college credit at a discounted rate, which is really nice. So it gives you a head start on college, and it's cheaper. You do have to pass that placement exam before getting into those classes, but that's really the only requirement. Tuition is paid to Carl Sandburg College. Like I said, it's half off for you to attend if it's dual credit. There is financial aid available as well. They're part of a pilot program that uses the Pell Grant, so students actually can qualify for the Pell Grant while in high school. But it's important to note that you are beginning a college transcript when you start taking these classes. So you're not just, not only do they cost money, okay, but it has a bearing on that college GPA even. So we can start taking those as juniors, all right? So I'll start talking to you guys about that sophomore year for sure, okay? Just a listing of the extracurricular activities at Illini West. We have a lot to choose from, a lot to be involved in. Mr. Houston's going to talk about that a little bit later, so I won't spend too much time there. Mr. G, you can move on. Again, physical insurance waiver, medical info, all this needs to be on file with the office before you start that first day of school. Specifically, the physicals need to be taken care of. And student athletes need to get their physicals yearly. So the freshman physical takes care of the athletic physical that freshman year. All right, I do want to put a plug in for the guidance department's school counselor page on Facebook. So if you could please give it a like and follow. I try to keep that current. I let you know when recruiters and for military, college are coming. I let you know about these kind of meetings. It's just a supplement to advertise for our specific area in the building and just a good source of information. So now we're going to have some presentations by some teachers and sponsors. But first, I think we have Christine Murphy from the CEO program, who's going to talk about that wonderful program and the opportunities available, even though it might be a couple years away.
Thank you. Just real quick, and as Ryan said, this is something that is a couple of years away for you guys as freshmen, but CEO is a program that is available to you as a junior or a senior. So if it's something that you're thinking about, I would encourage you to talk to Mr. Bliss about that and get that on your 4-year plan, just so that you know where that is going to, fall with your schedule of classes. But a quick little overview about CEO is it's called Creating Entrepreneurial Opportunities. It's open to all high schools in Hancock County, and so you guys would be able to meet with other students from Hancock County. We meet for 90 minutes a day, and it is a dual credit class in which you would receive 8 credit hours of college credit, along with the 2 high school credit hours. And unlike the other dual credit classes, this one happens to be free to you, which is a big plus. The program is funded by investors within the community and the county, and so that is a really, really nice opportunity for your students to take advantage of some dual credit classes free of charge. It is basically a business class. We are taking business classes at Carl Sandburg. That's where they fall under in your dual credit classes. But more than that, we just want to show you what Hancock County has to offer. We want to let you know that Hancock County is a great place to live and to work. And so instead of going through customer service and finances and all of that in a classroom setting like you would see in a high school or a college, this is a different kind of class where we're hands-on and we actually go out to the community We go visit businesses. We hear from guest speakers, and we kind of immerse your student into that real life experience. And within the class, they can start their own business as part of that. So there's lots of exciting things there, but we do want you to know that that's an opportunity for your students as they get a little older. If you didn't get a flyer, they're up here, or I think there's some in the back. Otherwise, HancockCountyCEO.com, and you can search that, check that website out, or you can also find us on Facebook and find out where we've been and what we're doing, and follow up a little bit with us. My contact is on that Facebook, or you can contact me through that Facebook page. You can also email me directly from the website. So if you have more questions, you can do that. But certainly put that idea in your mind if that's something that you'd like to do when you get to be a junior or a senior. Look at that. This is great. Thanks. So, great. Thanks, Mr. Bliss.
Okay, next we have the hardest working man this winter with all the cancellations and rescheduling and everything. To talk about athletics and driver's ed is Mr. Zach Houston.
Good evening, everybody. I don't need that now. You can go ahead and go to the next slide, Mr. G. I am Zach Houston, Mr. Houston, Coach Houston. I am the athletic director. I teach driver's ed. I also am an assistant football coach. I was an assistant wrestling coach this year, and I'm also the head baseball coach. So I stay pretty busy. I got 3 little kids who are busy in every little thing too. So they're not so little anymore, I guess. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. It's my email address, houston.zach@lonniewest.org. I check it often, probably too often. I'm on my phone just as much as most of the kids are. School, always call it school phone too. I'm not going to exactly read that word for word, but basically, you guys understand that I'm the athletic director, so most of my talk revolves around athletics, and that's basically what that says. But you would get similar results from being in other extracurricular activities as well as what you're going to see up here. So, Mr. G, there's a listing of all these are the IHSA sports and activities at Illini West. Lots of different activities there offered. Our coaches, a lot of them will do summer camps. I think in your packet there should be a directory in there with the coaches' email addresses. Coaches should be getting that information out pretty soon about the summertime activities. Here's just a list of some of our success over the past 12 years. Obviously, prior to that was the start of Illini West. 5 state titles, a state runner-up, Elite 8, 15 times, 19 Sweet 16 teams, 24 regional champs. That includes 11 football playoff teams, 13 sectional champs, numerous conference titles. Each team sports, that's our winning 1,186 wins to 664 losses. That's just varsity. That's a winning percentage of 641. Plenty of schools across the state would love to have what we have accomplished in just 12 years. Okay. Here's some reasons for participation. 10 benefits. Just go right on through there, Mr. G. Health benefits, time management, importance of persistence, patience and practice, school pride, community representation, social benefits, leadership skills, teamwork, cooperation, educational benefits, self-pride. Being involved is and again, not just your athletics, but a lot of other extracurriculars also can lead to a lot of those. Okay. Now, some other reasons for participation. I did some research using our student body here at Illini West. This is the second year of doing this. I was pretty shocked when I looked at some of these numbers. And keep in mind, this was through January 10th. We were supposed to do this meeting a long time ago. So these numbers might have slightly changed. But anyway, some grades. That's the average GPA of any student who participated in an IHSA sport or activity right now at Illini West, 3.32. Last year was 3.19. If they were just in one sport or activity, it's 3.13. 2, it goes up to 3.37. I always like this one. When they're involved in 3, it's the highest. It's 3.46. So the more you're involved, the higher your grades go up. You know, coaches stay on you. Attendance, you got to be at school to participate in these things. Students who participated in IHSA sport activity had 82 periods which they were unexcused. They skipped class for whatever reason. That's a total of 11.7 days. Okay, one sport, 63 periods, two sports, 18, three sports, one period. Now, to give you an idea of what that means, there's been roughly 202,000 periods up to that point. Okay, so if they're involved in an IHSA sport activity, they're at school. That's where they are. Tardies, kind of the same trend. The more you're involved, the less you're tardy. That's late to class. The 5-minute passing period is plenty of time. So next slide. Here's students who are not in an IHSA. This is overall average. Again, average, okay, 2.46 GPA. These are students who are not in IHSA. So there's a graph there for you. Go ahead and go to the next one. Attendance. Okay, this was specifically tardies. 601 tardies. Okay, way more tardies for those students who are not involved in the IHSA sport or activity. Okay, here's another attendance. 2,143 unexcused periods. That equals 306 days. Okay, so to compare that side by side, there you go. So that's periods on the left and days on the right. Okay, so be involved in something. You got to be at school. Grades go shooting up. Okay, and your high school experience is much better. Again, it doesn't have to be athletics. That's what I look at. Okay, it could be FFA. You might see the same results if you look at the FFA group. Okay, next slide. If those aren't valid reasons to be involved in some way, shape, or form, I don't know what is. Okay, be active, be involved. Is kind of what I just said. Go ahead and go to the next one. Some of you might have the want to play college sports once you get past high school, and if you do, great. But understand one thing: if that's something you really want to do, you've got to be a good high school athlete first. You just have to. Okay, you have to do that first. Our coaches provide a lot of opportunities for our student athletes to make themselves better, whether that's during practice, off-season workouts, whatever it might be. You'll have plenty of time to get better at something. But if you truly want to go to college and play a sport, you're going to need to even go above and beyond that. Okay, besides what just your coaches are asking you. There's some required forms. Back in the day, we would hand out like a packet of like 10 pages. And what would generally happen is coaches would hand this out sometime during the summertime. Would get lost. And here we come to the first day of practice. Oh, I forgot about those papers. I don't know where they're at anymore. Well, then we give another packet of papers, and then they take it home, and that would get lost too. So we've eliminated the papers. Now we just go to... We're not going to go to the link, but everything's done online now. It's a Google form. It's real simple. It takes maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It asks the questions like, do you have any medical things that your coaches need to be concerned with? It talks about insurance, things like that. The concussion form. Do you understand the student handbook? That type of thing. And it's all done online. There's no paperwork. You got to fill it out once a year, one time a year, and we save it. Okay. And your sports physical that you have, it's good for 395 days from the day that you receive your sports physical. So you go a whole year, and then you get 30 more days. That's kind of a nice, I think that started like 3 or 4 years ago with the IHSA. Extracurricular policy in the student handbook. If you were to click on that link, you don't have to, Mr. G. Just go to the next one. Okay, get familiar with it. Okay. You'll get a student handbook at some point in time. Social media. Obviously, that's a big deal this day and age. We try to tell our student athletes we want you to have a positive image on social media. It's a big deal. And one of the first things I do when I hear of somebody, I go to Facebook, I type their name in, and I see do I know them? What do their pictures look like? Do I know these people? Oh, look at that post. That post is ridiculous. People do that. Okay, people have been fired from their jobs from what they put on social media, right? So just understand the importance of that. My kids are 12, 11, 9, okay, and we've had this discussion with them, and one of them has a hard time with some of that stuff, and it's really driving me nuts. But anyway, you got to understand, kids, it's that stuff's important, okay, that you have a good image on social media, because for you guys, that's what it's all about this day and age. Have a good image there. Okay? And I do have Twitter and Facebook, Illini West Athletics, and I put a lot of stuff on there. Next slide, please. Eligibility. There's two different types of eligibility. There's weekly eligibility, which I run on Friday morning. So on Friday morning, I'll get to school and I'll run the eligibility. If a kid comes up with an F, I'll ask the teacher, do they have an F in your class? The teacher says yes, or the teacher says no. If the teacher says yes, I go find the student and say, you're ineligible next week. Okay, from Monday through Saturday. You can't, the next week, you can't participate in a extracurricular and an IHSA extracurricular. And even if during that next week you were to bump your grade up to passing, okay, you are still ineligible. You would have to wait till I rerun it the following Friday. And then there's another type of eligibility, which at the end of the semester, me and Mr. Bliss sit down and I say, okay, who got all the Fs? Okay, you have to basically pass 5 classes in a semester to be eligible the next semester. If you only passed 4 classes, you can't do anything the next semester. The good thing for freshmen, just so you know, not to tell you not to get good grades, I guess, but when you start off in high school, you have a clean slate. So no matter what, I'm not encouraging you to slack off in your grades, but no matter what grade you have in junior high, you'll be eligible your freshman year, first semester. But then it's week to week after that. Okay. Each coach is going to have certain rules, guidelines that they're going to have you follow. Parents, be sure that you familiarize yourself with that. This gets a little bit jumbled up right there. I just noticed when I was looking at it. Go to the next one, Mr. G. On May 5th, this is a date you can write down if you want to, but on May 5th, we will have a parent meeting. And at that parent meeting, we did it last year for the first time, and I had great reviews. I think it worked out really well. Basically, at that parent meeting, I will get up in front and talk to you guys about more specifics, some athletic stuff, shuttle bus things like that. And then after I'm done talking, then we'll break off, and the fall coaches and the fall sport coaches will talk to parents. That lasts 10 or 15 minutes. And then the winter sport coaches will talk to parents. And then the spring sport coaches will talk to parents. And then we're out of there in like an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes, something like that. So we get ready, we take care of all the parent meetings for the entire next school year on May 5th. And it's at 4 o'clock is when we'll do it. What's nice about it is, some of you might live, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes away from the high school, and you go to a coach's meeting that might last 5 or 10 minutes, and then you hop back in your car and drive home. And even if you just live down the street, that'd be kind of annoying, I think. So we're kind of trying to eliminate that a little bit. So that's May 5th at the high school. Summer weight room. Our coaches, everybody, we expect our athletes to be in the weight room. That's just the expectation. You need to be in there. It's open from 7 to 10 a.m. for Illini West kids. There's a shuttle bus provided. Next one. Coach Flesner and Coach Lafferty, the young one, will be running this weight room this summer. They do a great job, extremely qualified and extremely motivated. There's 3 different types of workouts. Just go all the way down, Mr. G. There's a power workout, a strength workout, and an endurance workout. So there's a workout that fits every type of athlete. Coach Lafferty or Coach Flesner might guide you towards a certain workout, but you can go in there and maybe kind of pick your own. And I shouldn't just say that's open to anybody. Any Illini West student wants to come there and work out during the summertime, go for it. I shouldn't just say it's specifically athletes, but anybody can. But 3 days a week, that's what we want. And we really want the parents, okay, get your kids there. Get them up, get them going. Most of the coaches' camps are going to be running from 9 to 11 in the morning anyway. So they'll go lift weights for an hour and go to camp. Okay, whatever camp it might be. Parent support, get them in there. It's free. It's the best part about it. It's free. People go other places and they pay hundreds of dollars to go get a workout that isn't as good as the one you can get out here. Trust me, it's free. Next slide. We have a weight training class. We want our athletes in weight training class. Again, that's the expectation. No questions asked. We wanted the kids in there. It's open to everybody. Sports boosters, be involved. Go all the way down. Chris Talley, Tara Cole are the main contact people. If you have questions, we don't really want to turn this into a Q&A. I'll be around, but shoot me an email. Again, I check it way too often. And thanks, but driver's education. Okay, this involves everybody. I'm also the driver's ed teacher. If you turn 15 prior to November 1st, you should be in driver's ed first semester. Okay? If you turn 15 from November 1st through June 1st, you'll be in driver's ed second semester your freshman year. If you turn 15 after June 1st, you will take it the first semester your sophomore year. Okay? So really pay attention to that. I don't know any of your birthdays, obviously. Okay? So you need to, if you're November 1st, prior to November 1st, maybe 15 right now even, you need to be in driver's ed first semester. Behind the wheel schedules based on availability, blah, blah, blah. You guys don't need to worry about that right now. If you turn 15 prior to, let's say you're a first semester student. Excuse me. Let's say you're a first semester student right here at the beginning of your freshman year, and you turn 15, say June 15th. At the end of the school year, I will go around to all of the students who are turning 15 prior to driver's ed starting, and I will give you information. If you want to go get your permit early, here's how you do it. It's got a checklist, step by step. You can go get it early if you want to. You don't have to. You can wait till you get to the class, and we can do it that way. But I will drive around to all the schools, and I'll find you. Here's your paper. I'll just say you can read it. Take it home, mom and dad. It works out pretty well that way. And the same thing, if you're a second semester student and your birthday, say, is November 15th, I'll find you before you turn 15 and say, hey, here's your paperwork to go get your permit if you want to. You got to go get it on your own time, or you can wait till you get to the class. It's fine either way. So driver's ed, got to have your permit for 9 months. That's why we do that. We want to space it out that way. Good, Mr. Bliss. Who's next? I'll introduce him. FFA. Come on, FFA, let's go.
I'm Hannah Nelson. I'm the 2018-2019 president, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit tonight about the ag classes that are offered for you. Your freshman year, if you decide to be in ag, you will be in Intro to Ag, and it just gives you the basics about FFA and agriculture, and you learn anything from animals to plants to the history of FFA. And then your sophomore year, you will be in Ag Occupations, which is pretty much a prolonged version of Intro to Ag that pretty much just is an in-depth version of it. And then your junior and senior year, you can pick any class that we provide. We have vet science, food science, and many more to choose from. And if you want to be in FFA and be an FFA member, you have to be in an ag class. And in each ag class, you will keep a record book. And the record book is just something that you will pick something that you want to keep records on. And at the end of the year, you can compete with it and go up against other schools and people in our section.
I'm Kylie Freeman. I'm your 2018-2019 reporter, and I'm going to talk about what FFA is. FFA is a national organization. It's all over the United States. In FFA, we go to many conferences, conventions, competitions, anything like that. Hannah talked about record books. That's one of the things we compete with. We compete with our record books. At the end of the year, there's a fair, and you can get paid for winning with your record book and stuff like that. When you join FFA, we do fundraisers. The first fundraiser we do at the beginning of the year, we sell mums. You can sell mums, get a free t-shirt. If you sell so many, you'll get a free official dress jacket. at the end of the year, if you sell the most mums out of the whole chapter, you get an award at banquet. We do banquet every year in May, and that's just kind of an award ceremony where you get ribbons, plaques, everything like that from competing throughout the year. Some of the awards are, there's like Star Green Hand, that'd be for freshmen who join or your first year in FFA. There's Star Chapter Member, which is any year after your first year you can get it. That's when we like introduce our new officers for the next year and many different things like that.
Hi, I'm Katie Dale Markey. I'm the vice president this year. I'm going to talk to you guys about conferences that we go to. Throughout the year, we go to a lot of different conferences. This past summer, I went to Washington, D.C. with FFA for WLC, which is a leadership conference. There's people all around the world that go to this conference. There's people from Hawaii, everywhere. And I got to meet all of them and just become very good friends with them. We learned leadership skills, as also just touring Washington, D.C. as well, which is very fun. We go to a build conference, which is just another leadership conference, and they're just a lot of fun and just really gets the aspect of how big the FFA organization is.
I'm Marissa Newman. I'm the 2018-2019 historian. The other opportunities we have is National and State Convention. National Convention, you go to Indianapolis, and we do many fun things. We go to workshops, and there's rodeos and concerts. We went to a National Dairy Farm, and we visited the world's largest pumpkin patch. During State Convention, you go to Springfield, and you just go to more workshops, and you get lots of free stuff, and you just walk around and meet lots of new people and become friends with a lot of people from anywhere.
I'm Bailey Brown, and I am this year's secretary. We go to different contests over the year. Our major contest that we focus on is livestock judging. And at livestock judging, you have a variety of different animals, such as beef, swine, goats, or sheep. And you place them in a class of 4, best out of 4. And usually at the end of every other class, you'll have a kind of like a, what are they called? Questions class, yeah. We just went to a contest, a vet science contest last Monday, and we go to different rooms and you get to pick out different tools that they use and breeds, and you get to learn how to handle animals, and yeah.
I'm Levi Hawker. I'm the treasurer for 2018-2019, and we just went to a food science contest that you go different rooms and you smell different scents and identify them, like vanilla and cherry and strawberry. And you also go and you taste test different stuff. And then another contest we go to a meat judging contest where you identify different cuts of meats and you identify the quality of the different meats. And we go to a dairy foods contest where you identify different kinds of cheese and the quality of different milks.
Alrighty, I'm Trace Houston. I'm your 2018-2019 FA Sentinel. A couple of things we offer in FFA. We offer ag sales. It's a competition. Basically what you do is you go and you try to sell a certain object to a panel of judges. You have an individual and then you have a team class, and the team class is you are just selling as a team the object to another panel of judges. You also through that learn how to conduct and run a meeting. Another thing we offer is agronomy, and what you do with agronomy is you identify different weeds and seeds and different crops like that, and some technology as well. Finally, we have our plot, our FFA plot. We have one right across the street here, and one on the southwest side of La Harpe. Basically what we do with that is we plant different kinds of seed. We alternate between corn and soybeans. This year we had corn. This next planting season we'll have soybeans. And then we'll harvest it and we'll do yield checks and figure out which one did the best, and then we'll give that to farmers and seed companies, and so they can grow off that. If you have any questions, Mrs. McFadden is our advisor and our ag instructor. You can talk to her. And thank you.
Okay, going to change it up a little bit. Mr. Chris Greenhalgh is going to give his presentation. He'll be up here, up there, but you'll be able to see everything. So you'll be hearing a voice come from behind you, I think is how it'll work. Mr. G is what we call him, and he's involved in quite a bit and in charge of different things, FBLA, anything tech at the school, and I'll let him explain all that. So take it over, Mr. G.
Okay, is this on? Okay, this is God talking from up behind you. I jokingly call myself that because I control all the computers in the building, but I am the IT director at Illini West High School. Tonight I was planning on being up there and talking with you. As usual with tech, it had to change, and now I'm up here. So I'm running the computer, so hopefully I won't be too spastic with the mouse, but I'll run you through some basics of registration and then just kind of talk through some of the things that we're doing. This is our homepage as a website. I would certainly encourage you to familiarize yourself with that page. We try and keep it updated with anything current, with anything that we feel would be good for you guys. We also put some pictures up here. Occasionally they're good. I'm working on that as part of what we're doing. But for you as parents, as you're coming into Illini West, this is also going to be your page where you can get access to all of your Power School information, which is right up here. If you hover over that purple bar, here's all the different logins. For students and parents, here's your login right here, third from the left. That would be ones that you can log in. Parents, you'll be able to see grades and some basic information. Students, you'll be able to see grades as well. As we move through this, you're going to be creating an account as the year goes on for that. So that is the direct access. It'll come up with a page that looks something like this. As you guys have in your folder, there's a letter. It should have access IDs for both parents and for students. That is where you will actually create your own account. You can create it, make it whatever you want it to be, and you can actually create your own username so that when you log in, you know that it's yours and it's unique to you. Students, the ones that you have are locked in, and then if you want anything to be changed, password or those kind of things, you can do that. We do not keep a record of the password, so I don't know what those usernames and passwords are, but this will be your create account. You'll fill out the very basic top, and then down here you'll see the student name, the access ID, and access password, which should match up to the letters that will either be in your folders or be given to you at a later date. And then once you fill that in, you'll hit enter, and it'll take you directly to their page where you can both register. You can also see grades, attendance, email teachers if you choose, a number of other options that'll go along with that as you log in. Some other things that I just want you to note on this page, you have all the district pages. The district pages have all of the information that if you really feel like you want to read a lot of information, go for it. There's a ton on here. We also have a help desk that goes to me, and so I think it goes to me. But we're working on different ways to try and help communicate with you guys and connect with you guys that way if you need anything. But it also has employee handbooks, any employment opportunities that are going on, and you can read through that list. I don't need to read that for you. Board of Education, if you want to know when meeting minutes are, you can look in here. Any classroom sites, this is the teachers. Each of them will have a site that they will have typically a Google calendar that they will keep updated with. Hopefully they keep updated with different classes. Usually you can click into them, and if you want more details, they'll even put some assignments out there. So each teacher usually will have their webpage updated. We're trying to do that more religiously. So you can look right through there, and here's each of the teachers within the school. And here is a parents and students drop down. It's got all sorts of different things within it. I won't go through all of them. I'm pretty sure all of you can read these pretty well, and I'll let you do that on your own. But there's a number of things. Here's a student handbook. So if your copy goes bad, if you have something go wrong with it, you can still come onto our webpage and have it there. And then under general information, there's a lot of information on a variety of different things. I'm going to plug you in with the registration info. If you go to this webpage, obviously this has not been updated yet for the following year. However, I will be updating this here in the next few days, and you can actually click on this help desk right here. There's a walkthrough, so it can show you exactly what you need to do. Here's the Power School. It'll take you directly to the parent login. If you feel like you like writing and your wrist feels really ready to write, you can also download and use your hand to write all of our registration forms from here if you choose. But if you click on this help, we're going to update some of this, but this will be a video showing you a step-by-step of how to create that parent account if you have a problem with that. Here's a slides walkthrough if you just want to not listen to my voice again. A couple of general questions down here. You guys can read over this at your leisure. Basically, if you have any problems, just email us at registrationhelp@illiniwest.org, and we're going to respond. That email will not be open until August, or probably middle of July, when we start registration. So don't email it now. You'll just be annoyed. On that same one, just to kind of follow along with this, that's some of the registration stuff. I just wanted to let you guys know we are a Google school, which means that all freshmen coming in will be assigned a Google username and password. We do have on the order of a couple hundred Chromebooks in the building now, and so students will have that Google name and password to log in to their Chromebooks. That will give them access to email, all of the Google suite of documents. I put some information out here if you feel like you want to read up on some of that. This is a cutesy video that I'm not going to show you, but you can feel free to watch that at your leisure. But I know for parents, one of the things I want to make clear, when they have that email address, it's called a walled garden, which means the only people that can send them any email to that is others in the Illini West, or very few specific domains that we've opened up, such as Microsoft. So we try and maintain that safety and security at all times within the Google world. And I'm sure if you have any other questions with that, feel free to get in touch with me, and I'll put up that information a little bit later. And then these are just some other FAQs from students that have kind of come up. Yes, you do have a Google new username and password. Yes, you can use email if you so choose. You get all of these fun doc sheet slides, all of the Google verse, as we like to call it, and then you have access then to those documents anywhere. A caveat, be ready if a teacher gives you information and shares it with you, that means she expects or he expects you to have it at home. So be aware of that. But that is a help page that you can get to within registration info right here, and it'll take you right to it. These links will be updated as we move towards the next year and get started on those kind of things. Another thing just to be aware of is that we do now have, they've kind of mentioned it earlier, we do have, we have Gone Social as a high school as well. I know that you're about inundated with enough Facebook and Twitter handles, but we do have the Facebook page that we post school closings and anything that we can communicate. We also post pictures of different events. We also post just a number of different things on our Facebook page. So feel free to look us up, Illini West High School, and join that page if you so choose. Okay, I think I've covered the basics of our website and some registration stuff. As he was saying, I am also involved with way too many things. I'm also the FBLA sponsor, and that has housed and covered a number of different things that we are doing now, including a YouTube channel. We also have recently updated and upgraded to a full digital video studio that will be a class next year. Unfortunately, freshmen aren't going to be in that. However, they're more than welcome to drop in and take a look. Actually, if you guys ever wanted, we're actually live right now. This is called OBS Studio. So we're actually live on YouTube right now for this particular thing. For those that are interested in that kind of thing, we certainly would love to have you. We try and broadcast games. We also put games out in 1080p. So all home events, we try and put a live stream out. So that's one of the things that FBLA is doing. With that class, we're also doing micro business development. And so kids can actually make money using our tools to do senior posters or do photography or do videography. And we're currently doing commercials for businesses in the community. So it's a really exciting development. FBLA also does testing. We're about to go to state in April, where we will test against others around the state, and then the students have an opportunity to then advance to nationals within whatever they choose. And when they go to nationals, this year's in San Antonio, last year was in Baltimore, next year is going to be in Atlanta, and then the year after that I think is Anaheim, California. So they get to visit Disneyland. So it's a really fun opportunity for them if they want to participate. I'm also a sponsor of the Tech Club, and so that is a club that talks with tech in a broad, general sense. We talk about all things technology, so if you're interested in technology in any way, shape, or form, let me know, and we'll try and get you plugged in with that. I'm going to try and find our YouTube page while I'm talking. So, oh, it's over here. Let's go here. I'm also involved with a new esports team. That it is not a sanctioned sport at this time, so it is a club. However, we are actually had our first official match last night. It didn't go very well. However, it's cool that we're doing it. So there are opportunities there as we're growing. We've got a new coach who all the adults will go, I don't know what this means, but he's a diamond level player, so it's a lot of fun to see him plug in with the kids on that. I also have a ping pong club, although this year has been less involvement than in years past. Oh, dark screen. I'm really trying the computer here, but I won't put it on live because I think that'll really kill our network. But right now we are on live YouTube right now, and then we have a YouTube channel that we actually have done all sorts of different things within that channel, including commercials, including video, documentaries. We've done Christmas stuff. So if you ever feel like to jump on there, we have 106 videos. And for the kids who think they're pretty awesome on YouTube, we have about a little over 10,000 views now. So that's kind of fun when I look at it. So that being said, let's see if I'm involved in anything else. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So as the kids were saying, I'm Mr. G, or as the other presenters, I'm Mr. G. If you don't remember anything else, my last name's pretty crazy, so just type in Mr. G at IlliniWest.org and it'll come to me. Or you can get my information online, and feel free to ask me any questions that you might have as you go forward from here. I think that's all I have, Ryan.
All right, thank you, Mr. G. That's it for the presentations. So the next step is the green registration sheet that you have in your folder. I need you guys to write some classes down, talk amongst yourselves at some point between now and I'm coming to Carthage Middle School on Tuesday. And La Harpe and Dallas City, I'm hitting both schools there on Wednesday of next week. And we're going to do registration at that time. So if you could remember to bring your green sheets with you, then we will plug everything into Power School and get your course requests taken care of for next year. You don't have to bring your folder or anything like that, just the green sheet. So I guess that's your first high school homework assignment. You can remember to do that. So if you fill that out as completely as possible. But I'll also, walk the students through the whole process, answer any questions that they have about classes on that day as well. I'm going to take about 45 minutes to an hour to get that completed. So that's the next step with me. Parents, if you have questions, I'll stick around here to answer. Again, email is good too, or give me a phone call anytime. You can search my email on the IW website. And other than that, I just want to thank all of our presenters. I want to thank all of you for being patient with our reschedules and everything. It's just an important evening to have, I think, to kind of start you in on this high school process. So thank you, and have a safe drive home. Thank you. What? The what? Yeah, I'll take the blue sheets too if you want to fill them out tonight. I'll take those up here.